most of the country, when we look at those numbers, is showing the slump, but not all parts. Manitoba, Alberta, Yukon. There are, the house price is still going up. The slump's not kicking in there, at least not yet. Is there a risk when you're in a boom area as opposed to a slump area?
Well, real estate is all about location, Peter, right? Location, location, location. So I think if, for example, you're living in Calgary or Edmonton, this week the Conference Board said those two cities have the best outlook, not just this year, but for the next 4 years. So if you're living in cities like that, and in the Yukon, where there's a tremendous demand for housing and not enough supply, then the price may continue to rise and housing could be a great investment. So I really think you can't make generalizations. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis. But indeed, if you're living in a part of the country where you're fortunate enough to be in a boom, then housing right now, even though prices are rising, could still be a great investment.
In the setup pack, we recognize that there are major differences between what happened in the States and what's happening here. But in terms of similarities, are there significant similarities in the two stories?
Well, the housing market in Canada now, by most indicators, is as overvalued as the U.S. market was before the crash. In fact, by some indicators, it's more overvalued. So in terms of the actual level of prices and how much it's come up in the last few years, despite our really kind of lackluster economic situation, I think we are kind of precarious. There's other factors that, of course, make us
I think those
more
numbers
stable.
are so skewed by Toronto and Vancouver that I think it makes no sense at all to look at it on an aggregate basis. You've got to drive it down to individual markets, and Toronto and Vancouver are now cooling quite sharply.
And the truth is that the capital underpinnings for our market are completely different. We just don't have the kind of derivative products that they had. The mortgage-backed securities became a cottage industry that then fueled additional home buying. None of that goes on here. It's a very small piece of the market. Our banks are very, very, very conservative.
And one key difference in Canada has been the role of government, actually.
Yes.
We've got the CMHC, a Crown Corporation, that does public insurance on mortgages. Then because they are insuring it, they also tie it to standards on the quality of the mortgages in terms of how much you have to have down payment, how quickly you have to pay it off. We got a different role of government around interest rate deductibility. So the role of government has been a very stabilizing force in our real estate market. I suppose Mitt Romney won't like it. He probably thinks Canadians are 100% dependent on government instead of 47%. But if it works, it works.